Hello there my fellow sim racers, and welcome to today's video, and we're going to be diving into Assetto Corsa as I try and find a mod to replicate a tin top car that I fell in love with in another sim about 10 years ago. Don't worry, it'll all make sense after the intro once we get out on track. Hello there fellow tin top lovers, here we go. We have got a treat for you today. I have found a cheeky little Renault Clio Cup mod. But what sent me off looking for this particular car, and how did I end up in Assetto Corsa? Well, as the intro alluded to, when I first got back into the PC sim racing scene after a brief foray into the world of console racing, one of the new kids on the block, believe it or not, was rFactor 2. Anyway, it was the best thing since sliced bread. All sim racers were into it, so I bought it, downloaded it, and being a little cheeky tin top fan, I found the absolutely brilliant Renault Clio Cup car. It was a 2010 spec vehicle, and as anybody who follows any real world form of touring car racing, the Clio Cup is the breeding ground for youngsters coming through who want to make a name for themselves in the touring car scene. And this little one make series, Clio Cup series, has been running for years. It's really active in the UK, but it's worldwide. There's all kinds of little series here, there and everywhere. So I got involved in a really active scene with pit lane sim racing. We had a great league with some of the best, closest and cleanest racing I've ever had. Well, as things go, rFactor 2 fell away a little bit. Everybody moved on to other sims, and I never really got back into rFactor 2 until it got some official British touring car content, and that dragged me back into the title in a big way. And I've been playing it so much more now, and trying to watch my inside there. If you want to find out more about what I thought of the British touring car content, then check the links in the description for those videos. But anyway, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to take a look at that Clio, the car that used to be my go-to in rFactor 2. Well, it's an original car, and it's part of the ISI content who originally brought rFactor 2 out, and it's not kept pace with development. Graphically, it's just not as good as the new touring car content, and I don't know, it just didn't quite drive how I remembered it. I don't know, as they've updated the tyre model, the physics or something, I just feel that little Clio Cup car has just fell away. It's 10-year-old content. It probably wasn't that popular, so it's not a dig at the dev studio. It's just not practical sometimes. That whoa. He didn't like the fact I chopped across his nose there. Still held it. Lovely. So I thought, right, let's have a look at the Steam Workshop. Wonder if there's any other Clio Cup cars there. I found a couple, but they just fell flat, left me wanting. I just couldn't replicate what I had felt all those years ago. So I thought, right, what other title have we got that I could possibly search some modding content for? you don't have to look very far, do you? Because there's Assetto Corsa waiting for you. And after one or two mishits, I came across this 1.2 Clio Cup car by trained monkey modding. That's it. I knew I was going to get that wrong. I wrote it down as well. So I thought, right, now they list it as a little fun mod. So I thought, I've tried some of their content before. The Seat Leon they've got. Locked to front wheel. It's a bit dangerous there with a light rear end. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it a go. Got nothing to lose. So downloaded it, dropped it into Assetto Corsa. Instantly, I thought, this is it. It gave me the feeling. Straight away, I was taken back 10 years to when I first experienced the little Clio Cup all those years ago, and I that's it. And I thought, right, I have got to make a video highlighting this, because it's not even, they don't even sort of consider it one of their big main mods, but a lot of work has gone into it. I think it was created for a league, and it's just now been released. Yeah, it didn't have any liveries, but I found some on Race Department that somebody had put together. No. Flat on the power there. Ooh. But, it just made me smile straight away. It took me back to all those years ago, and I thought, I've done it. I have found that little Renault Cup car from all those years ago. You know, this isn't the same Cup car, it's many generations newer. I want to say 2016, but I could be getting confused with some other mods I've been looking at, but it's in the late 10s anyway. But you know, it's got all the hallmarks of a front wheel drive, lightweight, short wheelbase, little tin top. It initially feels quite flat, quite docile to drive, but once you start getting it up on the edge, that's when it comes alive. You can feel that rear wheel kink up and lift off. You feel all the weight going over that opposite front wheel. It makes it easy to lock up the inside wheel if you're trying to rotate the car as well as slow the car down. It is just a short wheelbase front wheel drive car through and through. Now, you've seen me have a couple of moments where I've snatched a brake or had a little bit of a nudge, and both times, what is the instinct that all front wheel drive car drivers have? Mash the throttle. And both times, eventually, alright, the back end was a little bit snappy, expect that, short wheelbase, but the car was brought back into line. I was able to save it exactly as you would see in the real world. And that's what, for me, marks out a quality mod with a quality physics model underneath. Now, these things only got 1.2 engines in. They haven't got complicated electronics. They literally are roll them out the showroom, strip all the weight out of them, and race them, you know? And you get that feeling about it, you know? It's on the limit. Oh, it's quite twitchy. It's got a lot of movement about, because it's not the, you know, it's not some custom suspension setup. It's not racing, you know, on slick tyres. So you've got a bit of sidewall movement. You've got a little bit of, you know, bounce on the suspension, because it's all about a low-cost entry into the world of motorsport. And even though they are, you know, spec vehicles, so... Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, I really struggle there when you flick the car from left to right under braking, the weight transference, it all loads up, and I'm too heavy-handed, so... But I saved it. But I knew it was going, I could feel it was going. I knew what to do to save it. Man alive, you know what I mean? AC, maybe as old as R Factor 2. But there's something about the underlying model underneath here that just doesn't expose the weakness of older or modded content that R Factor 2 unfortunately does. Okay, last lap. So I'm going to have the link to the car and the liveries in the description, as is always the case. And I'll tell you what I'd like to know is, has there been a sim racing title out there within the last 10 years or so that you remember having a fantastic little car in it, you know, little tin top, little touring car, little one make series that you've never been able to find again anywhere, replicate it, or it's just doesn't feel like it used to? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Ooh, here we go, we're getting ready to cross the line. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little ramble down memory lane and my little look at this trained monkey modding Renault Clio Cup for Assetto Corsa. Thanks for watching. In the meantime, happy racing. I'll see you out on track.